So yesterday we had discussed yesterday night who could speak in the morning, and we have chosen without any doubt Jordi. He is better than me speaking, and now we have Jordi Arjona from ITI that he will speak about the onboarding in Gaia-X. Jordi.
But you promised me a microphone.
Ah, sorry. I promised you a microphone, that's true.
Morning. Okay, onboarding. Onboarding is what we're going to be talking about. Such an important process, such a complicated process. And now, so these are probably the main steps of onboarding. And this is not what we're going to be seeing today, because this is the perfect example of what you should never do in a presentation, okay? Just a slide full of letters. So if you want to read it, you will have the presentation, it's fine, you can download it, read it, whatever, and thank Gemini for it. So the thing is, if we want companies to go through this hassle, they must have a motivation. It's not about the process if we want to accelerate the thing. So what do the companies really need to go through this? Which is not easy. At least I can think of two things. The first thing is trust. Trust from the point of view that, well, no one is going to be messing with my data, or they are going to be using it under my conditions. No one is going to be taking advantage of me, okay? And the second one, obviously, is monetizing it. You want something in exchange, okay? So I could tell you, hey, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. We have data control policies, use control policies, sovereignty. We have the trust framework. I mean, we are going to find tons of resources, tons of potential consumers for your data, and everything's going to be grand. But, or not. But it's not going to be grand. What happened? that was a spoiler, okay? the time is not counting, okay? No, no, thank you. Esto es sabotaje de Gemini. Gemini's revenge. Okay.
I see your slide, Jordi, now. It's too much rubbish in your slide now.
I'm positive about it.
Yeah, I know.
I prepared it.
You will understand the rubbish now. Now we have preparing that because we wanted to say to the people. Actually, we have seen yesterday that the Gaia-X is not so easy to use. Absolutely. Even yesterday in one of the sessions, some people, the person from the University of Malaga, say that you need to have a very high technical background to use all the Gaia-X thing. Airbus, you can close your hair because I'm trying to convince them they need to do things in Spain. But really, it's difficult. It's not so easy. And what they are trying now in this 4 presentation that we will have now is how to make it easier. I know that some of the people here, like the network, for example, they are preparing also tools to make it easier, and it is making it easier also to help you to do the onboarding. This is the rubbish I was speaking about.
Again with the spoilers. Come on. So, they are breaking my presentation. I'm going to cry afterwards. So, as I was saying, I could tell you that everything is going to be grand, okay? But citing an eminence like Aragorn, I will tell you that it is not today. I mean, and it is not today because that case is the case of a very sunny day scenario, okay? And why is it a sunny day? Because in general, we have a very high impression of ourselves, and we think that our data is wonderful, is fantastic, and it is not the case, okay? You will be surprised how many analysts might think that your data is this, okay? So the thing is that we need to make sure, as organizations, because every organization has to go through this, that people are going to be using our data. It's not going to be suffering it, okay? And even if you come and tell me, no, listen, my data is wonderful. I mean, I've been through this. I'm gone past this stage. My data is highly valuable, has a lot of quality, is very important, very interesting, and I have high chances of monetizing it. Great. So what else should you worry about? Well, I have another friend we can ask, and this guy is Jack. Okay, because I'm sure that no one of you never, ever, ever, ever downloaded a movie or a book or a song or watch an online game like Barça Madrid the other day. Paki, congratulations everyone from Barcelona. And you would always pay for everything you use, right? But believe me, there's people that is not like that out there, okay? And there might be people willing to take advantage of you. So I would be naive or badly intentioned if I told you that everything's gonna be okay. So the reality is that we need more tools to grant that this is not going to happen. And nowadays we are still in an early stage. We're working on this. So this will eventually be right, be fine, and we will have more tools to guarantee that this is not going to happen. And along these lines, yeah, how can we help? Okay, right now, at least in ITI, and my colleagues are working on this as well, but in ITI, we have at least 3 initiatives that go along these lines. Okay, one of them is WiseFair, the other one is Datamite, and the last one is Confia. Confia is trust in English. WiseFair is about building a technological environment where companies can manage, enrich, share, work their data in order to have the means to safely share it, monetize it, exploit it, etc. At the end of the day, what we're doing is building a stack that will help companies to improve their maturity regarding data. And improve their maturity implies having tools for quality, having tools for governance, for enriching them. So basically, they can build a data product that is worth to be shared with others. They don't have to suffer it. Okay? So at the end, the goal is to improve or enhance data monetization and to facilitate how data is going to be exchanged. Datamite is similar. It's lighter than WiseFair. It's an open source approach. But it's also working on providing these tools. I was going to put the architecture, but it was too big. But basically, we're also providing a lot of tools along this way or this task, right? Helping you to build better data sets. Here, we're not constrained to share data in Gaia-X or data spaces. We're going beyond to platforms, platforms like the On Demand, like Data Europa, like EOSC. We have a plugin-based approach to help along this way. But at the end, it's the same thing. We're allowing you to define, apply sovereignty rules, methods for ensuring the quality of your data, and facilitating how you're going to be sharing and monetizing your data. And finally, we have Confia. Finally, in third place, we have Confia Trust, where we're focusing on the issue of trust, and we're focusing in different ways. And the first one, the goal at the end is to improve the trust between data consumers and providers. And to do this, we're tackling different problems. First, we're working on preserving the consumer information. Why? Because if I'm going to ask you for data, you don't need to have all my information, all my credentials. Get only whatever you need. The piece of information you need to validate whatever policies you want to validate. Second, we're working on increasing guarantees for data consumer while preserving data privacy. What do we mean? That if you want to access my data, well, you are requesting it, we're negotiating for it, I'm not going to let you see my data for free. So the option, or one option on the table is to encrypt it, and that you work on encrypted data with zero knowledge proofs, with something that gives you assurance that what I'm going to give you is what you expect me to give you. Okay? And finally, we're working on preserving control over data. How? Because right now, if we make an exchange of data, at the end of the day, nowadays, I'm giving you access to the raw data through a data service or giving you the data straightforwardly. So here again, we're working on the approach of giving you an encrypted data with a credit or computational credit. So you can start working on the data, and the more you work, the more noise it gets until it gets unusable. So basically, I, as a provider, I'm giving you a credit, I'm retaining some more control I was able to retain earlier. So at the end, consumers are going to be using the data, but for the amount of computation they were promised or they negotiated. There are still tricks, but I'm gaining in control. Okay? And to do this, we're working with techniques like self-sovereign identity, zero knowledge proofs, homomorphic encryptions. Others, I don't remember the name right now, but these are the main ones probably. So look, the just to conclude, this is complicated, okay? I'm not gonna tell you the opposite. So if you have a problem, okay, you can find us and we can help you. So just come and count on us, okay? If you need anything, you have issues with these things, just let us know. So now I leave you with my colleagues, and thank you very much. And don't ask any questions.
Thank you, Jordi. Maybe there are some people here, they don't know what is the A team. Maybe. And I pay to watch the football, even if we lose. Even if we lose, I pay to watch the football. I think I'm the only person of my friends who pay the football, but okay. And now we have another presentation for the onboarding. It's Mario from Arcis. So the floor is yours, Mario. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, good morning, everyone. I think it's not fair. Jordi has been the first one because now all our presentations are going to be really bored. Sorry about that. But in any case, I know that expectations are really high right now. I will try to keep them as high as I can. Okay, so my name is Mario. I work in the innovation department in Arcis. We are a cloud services provider company based here in Spain, in North area, in La Rioja, in Logroño. And no. No. A little about the company. We are part of Iondos Group, and over the last more or less 3.5, 4 years, we have been working in the development of data spaces and also in the transfer work of Gaia-X. We are supposed to give solutions for companies in order to accelerate the onboarding in the Gaia-X processes, and I think that up to now, we haven't been able still to make companies understand what the onboarding process is about, okay? So I'm going to try keep this presentation really simple, really quick, in order for you to know what you need to get into Gaia-X, okay? So what does Gaia-X do? We try to build safe environments where data can be shared. How do we try to achieve this? By working in three main pillars. Federation, that we are trying to build a common set of rules that all the participants in a data space must fulfill in order to guarantee that we all are working under the same conditions, okay? The compliance working group tries to specify the mechanisms to be sure that the participants are fulfilling the rules that the federation implies, okay? And then we have a third pillar, the data exchange processes that talk about how data need to be exchanged and the way to log all the transactions that are done in a data space. And basically, the three pillars, this is an all one, but I like it very much, this picture, because it clearly shows, from my point of view, how the three working groups interact among them in order to provide these requirements we are talking about, okay? So, at the end of the day, the working groups build documents, functional specifications, that are translated into technical specifications for the guys that are working just right here, okay, in the next room. Sorry, I didn't find the word. So, according to these specifications, we build technical components that run under the so-called, or the so-named Gaia-X digital clearinghouses. Okay. The trans framework is based on the use of verifiable credentials to make this documentation work, so to speak, okay? At the end of the day, verifiable credentials are just a set of claims or assertions about something. We are trying to describe something we, as a participant in the data space, or a service we are offering in a data space, okay? And this set of claims is signed using our certificate, our SSL certificate, and validated by a third organization that grants or gives validity to the information we have provided, okay? So to onboard Gaia-X, you need just to build this credential, sorry. The most important one is the participant credential. You have to provide some basic information about your company, sign it with your certificate, and then go through a clearinghouse in order to validate all the information you have provided. And if everything goes well, you will get in return a Gaia-X compliant credential, and you are in. Now you are on board Gaia-X. That's all, okay? Furthermore, if you want to offer a service in the data space, you also need to build your credential, okay? The attributes you will need to include are different, but the process is the same. You have to include, according to the type of service you are going to offer, you need to include different information, but again, you need to sign with your certificate and validate against the clearinghouse. And also you have to include, this is an important one, compliance criteria about different criteria, so to speak, okay? Contractual framework, data protection, that are ensuring that the service you are offering is providing still more trust to the rest of the participant in the data space, okay? So this is how we build the credentials, okay? You need the information for your company, build your presentation, and this presentation is the one you validate against the clearinghouse. If everything goes well, I mean, the clearinghouse, just to keep it simple, as I said at the beginning of the speech, we'll check that all the attributes, all the information you have included in your presentation is valid, is all the attributes that the working groups define that have to be there are really there. The certificate you are using to sign your presentation is valid. And then if everything goes well, you will get your participant credential and you are in, okay? And for the service offering, is exactly the same. You need to build your presentation with different credentials regarding identifying you as a participant, but also the service you are describing and the rest of compliance criteria you are fulfilling, build the presentation and go against the clearinghouse. So the clearinghouse, as I've just said, it's going to check the validity of the presentation you have built. Validating the certificates, validating the structure of the credential, validating the proof. I mean, when you sign with your certificate, you generate your signature. So if later on you modify any attribute of your credential, your signature will also change. So the rest of participants have or has a mean to know whether you are providing the right information when you are claiming when you build your credential. And that's all. I think, hope it has put some light of how to onboard. And in any case, if you have any doubt or want to discuss about something, please feel free to approach us and we'll be delighted to discuss with you.
The other day, 3 weeks ago, we have done a workshop in Madrid to make the credentials in a couple of hours with the support of people from Yacir and people from Gaia-X and also people from AIRE and from ASIS. There are many people who could certificate in Gaia-X. We will repeat this workshop if you are interested, and I think we have like 20 people certificating some couple of hours. Okay, I mean, people from Alicante, they did it. And now Manuel is coming from AIRE. They have a very good approach on how to support the people to make the onboarding. Manuel, the floor is yours.
Okay. My presentation really is a way to explain you what is the frustration for 4 years. Okay, we started the process 4 years ago in 2020, and that is the real aspects or the real question that we want to solve in that period. Okay, now 5 years later, we are trying to explain that to our customers and to obtain more implication of the different organizations, specifically customers. Okay. Well, also there is the architecture that we are right now using, because in my perspective is more explain or explain better what we want to obtain in Gaia-X, and well, you find a lot of components in that architecture that right now are more or less divided. In some cases in the architectural document are confusing, and well, from this perspective, we are trying to fix what are the interests of the customers, or what are the process to involve the customers in Gaia-X. First of all, the clearinghouse is just a very small part of the puzzle. It's just the part that is confidence or trust. But trust is not important from the point of view of the business. The business is based in money, not in trust. Okay? Trust is a problem for us and for technicians and probably for legal persons or legal entities, but not for a real customer. Secondly, we need to define the roles in the process. It's important to define what are the different parts of the business. That is the infrastructure, the trust provider, the consumer, etc. Okay? The main question, the consumer and the provider, from the point of view of the real users. But we need a specific functionality that is, we name the federated service provider. Why? Because if you are talking with a small and medium company, they have not enough technicians, they have not enough knowledge to provide that. And normally they say, okay, you must provide me. For this reason, the presentation is software as a service. It's not exactly that, but it's try to send that idea to the market. Okay. Second important question, labeling. Right now, when we discuss about Gaia, we are discussing about trust, etc. Okay, labeling is the main question to compete between companies using Gaia. Without labeling, Gaia is nothing. And labeling, we need to provide almost level 2, because level 2 is a positive issue to compete between companies that are included or not in Gaia. Specifically because we are talking about the next step, that is an ISO standard. ISO standard probably based in Gaia, but it's not sure that it's based in Gaia, but probably combines some functionalities of Gaia. Okay, level 3 is very important, but also it's important for a very big companies, not a traditional small and medium companies. Okay. Third, I prefer to use the traditional approach of the traditional X diagram of Gaia. And we divided it in 2 parts. The first part is 0. Okay. The first part is what is the way to provide the users all the infrastructure that they need to put in place some interchange of data. Okay. In some cases, the companies are not well trained and are not aware about the difficulties, the technical difficulties that you need to solve to exchange data between your company and the other companies. That is the first step. The second step is how is the logical or the okay. First step, provide the infrastructure. The infrastructure we are focused in a traditional way that my company, RIDC Networks, provides for our customers, not only in internet, but also in the traditional communication business. It's an orchestrator. An orchestrator that orchestrates not only the infrastructure, but also the services. From the point of view of the customer, we want to provide a holistic view of the system, not a particular view, not differentiate between the people in charge of the machinery, the people in charge of communication, the people in charge of application. That is a very bad approach for small and medium companies. For that reason, we provide the approach of the orchestration. It's a very big issue because we have more than 10 years doing that. And, okay, how is I don't know, disappear the color, data space provider. That is the second block, okay? And the second block is just to provide the functionalities more related with data. We are not experts in that, but we provide a platform and all the functionalities that need an expert of data to provide that, okay? For example, we have a very long experience trying to explain what is a connector for small and medium companies. A connector is just to send a spreadsheet for the provider to the federator. Okay, it's, the abstract of the system could be very simplified from the point of view of the customer. Okay, we need to do that, and we do that using the data space platform that provides in open source pieces of that puzzle. We have divided in consumer, provider, and federator. The federator for us is the main question. For example, last week we are talking about, for example, in Spain there are companies that exploit data from tourist places. Okay, that is a federator really. Probably they are not using Gaia. They are not using the approach of Gaia, but at the end they are a federator of this data and provide that service to the customer. Okay, our idea is to change our mind. We are not providing Gaia. Gaia is a tool for that kind of people. Okay, we must mask the Gaia process inside the process that they are doing really. Okay, this I know that is a different approach, but probably is the only that can work. Okay, that platform is based in the Tagus version right now for real questions, and just to mention some part of that you need to provide. For example, you need a data integration service. I don't know if the colors are disappeared, but okay, that part is provided normally for our partners. The second is we provide the infrastructure, but not the physical infrastructure as a service. We provide more than that. We provide the communication between them. We provide not only the credentials of Gaia, but the rest of the credentials that they need to exchange information. For example, the data encryption. You need to encrypt the data. And encrypt the data, if you are using, for example, our platform that is based in OpenStack, you need to combine the credentials of Gaia with the credentials of Keystone. Okay, that is the way from you. There are that is a resume of the services that we deploy in the infrastructure tool federation service provider. More to provide the previous is a federation service, the federator. The second is the participant, very similar, but at the end is less information that and very important issue. We can provide that in two ways. One is a container. The second is a virtual machine. Why? Because traditional market prefers the virtual machine approach. Okay? In this way, we send a virtual machine from the private cloud of the customer, and we make a virtual machine in the federator place. Okay? And we combine that. We provide all the info, all the tools, all the needs that the customer use in do that. Okay, and also we need experts. We are not experts in data spaces. Okay, we are experts in the combination of functionalities. Practically between, if you remember the classic model from the level 1 to level 7, we are from the level 1 to level 4, more or less. Okay, and we will place for other companies or for other solutions to use that kind of infrastructure that we are combining to implement that services. Okay. Some words about the super orchestrator. A super orchestrator is not only to combine the efforts in the physical aspect from the layer 4, I explained. We provide that services to the next levels, 6 or 7. But the level 7, in the application, you can use the information that provides you the orchestrator. For example, if you try to combine or to monetize your service, you need a lot of metrics from the physical use. How many gigas you have transferred, how many gigas you are proceeding in the federator or in the customer, etc., etc. All of that information is provided by your orchestrator to your application, and you can share using that. Okay. Also, we have integrated the Gaia-X as a part of that functionality, and that is a real example that we are doing. The customer have not only a private cloud, that is standalone cloud. This is very important because almost in Spain and Latin America, I have a lot of information for the Spanish market and the Latin American market, the customer prefers that the data stay in their facilities, not outside of the facilities. That is the standalone. But the standalone can be combined with regional or hyperscaler if you want. But you need two pieces that are provided by the orchestrator: the distributor of the load and the connectivity between the system. If you have not that, you can use that part of the system, but it's not that the customer is asking for. Okay, that is your model, and we have defined that in the past, and we are combining the functionalities of Gaia-X inside that. For example, if a customer uses an application of Turing, for example, they have all the information that the clearinghouse needs to provide a credential. Okay, we connect the application of the user to the clearinghouse, but the clearinghouse is transparent from the point of view of the user. Okay, it's very difficult to exchange information using LinkML. You need a specific people trained in that. You need a certificate in the Gaia-X process. That is impossible to do in small and medium companies. We need to use the information that the customers have in this moment, or the application provider have, to include the information of labeling of Gaia-X, but not as a separate process. That is the idea. The idea that remains in the bottom of this presentation is that we need to use the way that the user is using that information, not change totally the approach, and the customer needs to pay more or to include some kind of functionalities that are not understood by them. For example, we have a very big problem with the certificates that you are using in the Gaia-X process. We are using a specific certificate for a Gaia-X. Normally, in the medium and big companies, you can use the certificate of the company to provide this kind of information data. We need to solve that. We need to solve a lot of small problems, or not, probably is not a small problem, but at the end we need to solve that from the point of view of the user. Our approach, we want to provide a solution that is integrated from the point of view of the user. They have only one login, only one perspective from the point of view of the interchangeability of data. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, Manuel. So the message is the small companies will probably need some tools that will come for the technological center or technological companies to help them. And now to finish, we have Enrique from Tecnalia, and he will give 2 good examples for the onboarding.
Hello. Well, I am the last one. I hope that we have some time just for discussions, but I will just make different presentations. By the way, as I said, I am from Tecnalia. And maybe I will just start with an announcement, because you were wondering how to make a credential, how just to make it compliant. So if you want to know more, I will make a speech at 12:30. That I have, together with my colleague Mario, we have worked on how to do it from scratch until you get a Gaia-X label. And it takes some, it's a time challenge. Well, today I have only a couple of videos. I wanted to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Just as a background of my talk is presenting two projects, 2 approaches, and what I found when I was just inviting them to join Gaia-X. And from the, let's say, a little bit more from the higher perspective, not from the data exchange or not from the onboarding. And in this case, we were working in a project together with Capgemini, and they were working on a product that they put in windmills, just to understand the maintenance of the windmills regarding the noise that the blades were making. Okay, so that the challenge here was telling them, okay, you have this. What is your data product? Okay, so this is something very difficult to the companies to when you first start just asking them what you have that has value. And they say, okay, they always say, okay, I have this data set, I'm collecting audio recordings, and you know, if you don't know what this is, how the things will demand this product. Okay, you know what is there, and you have your algorithms, and you might just have something, but just with the data set, no one is going just to request this for you. So we're telling them, how can you transfer these data sets into a data product? And we call the data product something that has a market demand, something that someone will be interested of buying it, okay? That it has value for it. And that's a good exercise. We made it with 6 different use cases. And at the end, for example, for this one, it was just the report. It was after applying some intelligence on your data sets, the final result is what really interests the final consumer, and that's what we did here. Okay, and finally, we just then later on we just brought and made the data product available in the marketplace of Gaia-X. Okay, so then when you know what is your data product, you need to create the credentials, you need to do the onboarding, as explained by my colleagues, and later on you need to publish in a catalog. Okay, and then expect that someone browse the catalogs, finds your products, and then is when they buy and you exchange the information. So that's a little bit what we have here. This is one example. The next one also is just going to a higher level, which is the next video, please. And this is also coming from another project, which is the DOM project, which is the distributed open marketplace for Europe. As you see here, here we were just working on the top of everything. It's when you want to publish all the offers from the cloud service providers or the data service providers. You need to have like a, I must confess, sometimes I usually just tell them that it looks like the yellow pages for people that are old enough, like the 18 people and myself. Is you usually have a catalog when you just were browsing the different, and you trust the catalog because someone there has been taking the time to compile and to verify that the information that is there is real. And then when you just want to go there, you just find the service that you wanted, and you have the contact details. You contact, you made a phone call by that time, and tell them, okay, I would like just to consume your service. DOM is a little bit the same thing. It's just a little bit more because they are also providing the way to pay for the services, but they are just using the compliance systems, which is right now being aligned with Gaia-X, so that with intention that you have your Gaia-X credentials, you can also publish your service offerings in the catalog. If you look, this is something, this is in production. This is different from what we usually say. We usually just end up saying this is a proof of concept. No, this is in production now. This is a procurement from Europe, and it's supposed to be live. I mean, the public funding will end by the end of this year, and they need to be sustainable. So this something has to be sustainable, and they expect to have around 200 service offerings, so that the marketplace is sustainable. So at the end, what we have been talking today about onboarding. So you need to be on board here. You need to have your service offering. You have your service offering credentials. Then you have your service offering published here. And once you have the catalog and the people can find them, then it's when you just go there, contact the service offering, pay whatever that you have to do, and then you're done. Okay. So that's I would say the final step, the top step, when everything is visible, when everything is published, when the things that are there, they are trusted and you can consume it. I mean, at the end, remember, as Jordi has said, trust is the important word. It has been said many times today. We said repeat it again and again during the rest of the day. Here, you trust the services that are published because there has been previously an onboarding phase. There has been previously participants that need just to prove that they are compliant with the rules, that they have to be part of this marketplace to consume the services. There has been also a process where the service offering need to check that they're compliant. And you also see here, like also in the labeling, that together with the services, you will see the compliance level that they have achieved. And then you can decide if you can go for a standard compliance and for whatever labeling. If you want to be everything in Europe, then you go for level 3. If you want something which is a standard compliance, because as you say, Manuel, which is perfectly right, for SMEs, it's difficult just to go through the onboarding. So most of them, they request from these projects just to make it easy and fast, not to spend a lot of time during the onboarding process. And that's something that we have also been working here with some kind of basic compliance, so that they can start publishing and see which is the ready value that you get from the marketplace. Because if you don't sell anything, then you say, why I'm here? Okay, I need to provide value, I need to get revenue. So that's a little bit from my side. I think that we have a couple of minutes and then I also invite you, by the way, that's before I end. Yes, again. Well, in our booth, we are also collaborating, and this is not part of it, but I will take 1 minute. Collaborating with the European Commission in just defining what are the policy recommendations for R&D for the next years. And so we have there in our booth, which is number 6, some kind of where you can scan a QR code and you need to to get an answer to some very easy questions. It's very fast, okay? And then your voice will be heard, and the European Commission will just try to provide new research funding for the topics that it will be finally the winners. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Enrique. Very good examples. And if you have some questions for the workshop, or maybe Jonathan?
Thank you so much for the presentations, especially those that really show that now it's not just trying to do the ecosystem and the transfer, but much more than that. So thank you for that. Now on this conformity and compliance level, which comes maybe after, first you would need to have an ecosystem, then you start sharing data, and then you find out that you need to be compliant. Maybe a question to the clearinghouses. Connectors is complex, but it's also a cost because you have to maintain the connectors, etc. How does it work for clearinghouses? Is it an extra cost? And just to give us an idea, is it more or less like in balance the same as a connector? That would mean that you have to have a connector, then you have to have a clearinghouse service, and this adds to the business case when you're trying to do a real use case. Is it free? Is it something, you know, just to give us maybe an idea, if you want to be compliant, how does it weigh on your business case?
Okay, we have tested that, and really the cost is zero officially. Okay, you can go to the clearinghouse and you put your credentials, you put your files, you submit your files, and you obtain the credential. In the real world, you need probably an expert to do that, and the cost of the expert is, in my opinion, around probably 1 or 2 days. You pay in that for a traditional payment, and it's just that.
Yeah, from our side, more or less, is the same approach. I mean, the clearinghouse services are free to use, but then you need some kind of expertise to build the credentials you are going to describe, okay? You have to fulfill a set of criteria that are going to guarantee that your service is fulfilling concrete legal aspects that are improving trust, but not everyone, of course, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I know how to build a credential, but you also need some people that can really make that effort, okay? But it's worthy, I mean, because at the end of the day, sorry, I will just finish. We are trying to improve that trust, and we can't be aware of everything. So it's an effort of a team, not just from one person.
Only for the experience in the Spanish projects, the people who are using a cleaning house, typically the cleaning house is free, but typically they pay like a fee to the cleaning house companies to maintain this thing.
If I react and then I pass to the just on the free side, this is something that we've been trying to promote inside Gaia-X, which is trying to go towards clearinghouses to be a Gaia-X data space and not just a Gaia-X project. And there's only 2 Gaia-X data spaces today, Catena-X, and I think it's Pontus. Or I forgot the second one at the moment. And it's very suspicious that if it's free, how come there's so many? How come there's so few that are using it? And actually, we went to see some other clearinghouses, not you, and we went to say, okay, apparently it's free. Apparently you provide it, and there must be lots of people, you know, who are asking you. And they said, no, we had to actually stop the team who actually works there because there was no demand, no clients, no one actually. So we need to reactivate a new team to actually make it there. So okay, big surprise, and then after that they say yes. And between the clearinghouses, some are not on this version; it's on another version, etc. So there's no necessarily harmonization between clearinghouses. Ah, okay. So it's kind of strange. And at the moment, to be real, the people inside are very suspicious of a free model, especially businesses. Free means you're the product. And so it would be more reassuring to know exactly the business model of a clearinghouse, because at least we can plan it and say, okay, that's what the clearinghouse is, because no one can provide a service and say it's free, and then, yes, but one day they will ask me to pay. We really need to understand before, especially if it becomes mandatory to be at a certain level of Gaia-X, how are these people where is their motivation in the process? And so I really think to adopt, because we're talking about onboarding, I'm not there to criticize, I think it would reassure people if they knew in the end, yes, but how will it evolve? How will it sustain itself? Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to support what Jonathan said. I think that it's really unrealistic to think that everything will be for free, because then who is paying the party? And I understand that there must be a kind of pricing model and business case for everyone. I see that maybe at the early stages, the onboarding can be somehow for free, for creating the critical mass and for scaling up the data spaces or the trust framework or whatever projects. But I'm pretty sure that if we remove all the public funding that is currently behind, if we don't have a real business case, everything will be shut down.
But in Spain, I assure you, because they will answer, but we will have a business case in Spain. So typically, making short, when they provide the cleaning house, they provide something additional, like infrastructure and another services and some consultory also. Therefore, they provide a service. They don't provide only the cleaning house. That's important. And they have many projects, both AIRE and ARSIS. They have many projects in the call, and that is important to make the question. It's a pity that most of the people of cleaning house are upstairs, but that is the business model that we are doing now in Spain. And they really have a business because they pay several things, not only the cleaning house.
Also because I think that we are always using as a negative having something for cost. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's business, so it's normal that you have to pay something for.
People are happy to
receiving something.
People are happy to pay, I think, for to have a good service. Jordi,
Yeah,
I pay
yeah.
for the football, so they need to pay for that.
And
also.
just for losing. No, just a comment, replying to Jonathan. What you say is true. I mean, when it's free, usually you are the product, unless it's free because it's the hook. So this is the case in many times as well. I mean, in many cases, I mean, it's free because they will be offering you some other things that you will pay for. So it's a way of attracting people into their business as well.
Yeah, but at the end, Mario previously explained, you need a group of people because the credential involves the company, the service, the legal aspects, because you are providing a contract, etc. It's not as simple to provide some data and to put that. Probably in a normal company, you need the contract that you put in the clearing house must be validated by your services. It's a complex process. It's not as simple as we explain. We provide that to you, obtain the credential, you do something. It's more complex than that. Okay?
Mario, maybe you have some examples also in the business model that you're using in the call. What are the people paying? What is included in this packet that you have?
For instance, in our case, we are a cloud services provider, okay? So there are also a lot of components, not only talking about the clearing house itself, but you know, Jonathan, you need other software components that each one of them is going to perform one concrete action in the organigram, so to speak, of a data space. So yeah, for us, for a cloud service provider, our business case is obvious, so to speak. Okay, and then the expertise. I mean, we were talking about not only from the technical point of view, but also from. For sure, I'm not going to be able to provide some legal expertise. That's not my work or job, okay? But we know who can help you to provide that. And for me, it's quite more important that the companies know what they are getting if they make the effort to build a credential. Not only for the service or services they are going to offer, but only for the information they are going to get from other participants that have also made the effort to build their own credentials, okay?
So again, in the package here in Spain, typically they provide cleaning house plus cloud services. I remind you both AIRE and ARSIS are both cloud infrastructure provider. And services like consultory, for example. That is a package. That is a business model there. People are paying them to do that. It's not free. So what is free is even the deployment is not free, because typically the people will even don't know how to use it. So therefore, they pay for the cloud, for the deployment, for the services and consultory. That is the business model they have. Because if it's totally free, they don't win anything. It will not be sustainable, and we want to be sustainable, especially in all the Spanish projects. But that's a good question to do. Any other question?
Well, maybe I can just give a different perspective, not from the clearing houses, but also from the marketplaces. When they just go and do the onboarding, they also just do the compliance, but in this case, they ask you for a subscription. Okay, so because in these cases, your services are going to be published in the marketplace and could be consumed. So they are working a little bit like the hyperscalers work. You pay a rent for having a space in this case in the marketplace. A bit different approach, but because you are going to consume some services, they are just working on this. This for the service offering. For the others one, they might value this pay-per-use or other alternatives, but just to have another point of view.
And that's good that the question comes from Gaia-X. we have here yesterday Catena-X Spain had been created, so now we have Catena-X in Spain, and now Jonathan from Gaia-X, he's almost living in Spain. So because they are trying to grow up in Spain, because in Spain now we have money. I need to say always we have money to grow up. We have money for something, not to pay the hypothec or the football, but we have money and we need to take advantage now. I told you yesterday, we need to take advantage now to have to improve and to grow up. And you have missed the time of the breakout. You have lost the coffee, but now we will start a very dynamic workshop about some use cases. We will have some use cases in aerospatial, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, and I don't know, health, I think. And Roland will start this dynamic workshop. Thank you, Roland. Gracias.